Hey everybody, here I am in the student deck 1 at Central Piedmont Community College, walking down the stairs. This is because my camera was acting up on me earlier. I guess I'm going to format the card. What it does is sometimes when you go to record a video, you start recording, you think it's recording because it says it's recording, but it stops recording for 2 seconds, and by that time you're paying attention to what you're doing and not paying attention to the camera. So when you think you're actually shooting a video, in reality, you're actually not. So, we are hiking down the stairs. We're going to do a reenactment of what I just did. All 6 stories of this parking deck. And there's somebody out there playing a saxophone. Hopefully that won't cause me any copyright content ID issues with YouTube. Okay, we are heading down to level 1. And of course what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to show you the elevators. This will be my second video of them. Between the last time I made videos of these elevators and now, elevator 2 has broken down twice, and elevator 1 has broken down 1 time. So let's see how they're doing today. March 21st, 2013. Here's your look at the parking deck. This is CPCC's original parking deck, student deck, built in the early 1970s. And as you heard me mention about these elevators breaking down often, it's because they are very, very poorly maintained. In fact, this one's still on 6, that's where I left it. This elevator here, a few weeks back, what it did was, I guess it got locked up on 4. Not physically, but the controller malfunctioned, so it stayed on the 4th floor with the doors open, and it was broken down for about 3 days, so everybody was having to use elevator 1. Of course, this elevator is closer to the campus, so it's always the one that gets used the most, so it's had a very rough life. It sits very loose in the shaft, and it sounds rough on the first 3 floors. You probably noticed it if you watched my last video with the noise my camera was making. It was like a distortion noise. It's actually the kind of noise it makes when I'm actually making videos of inside of a car. That being said, let's go ahead and call it. I'm guessing these may be originally Dover or possibly Otis, not sure. They've been modernized by Southern Elevator. That's who does the modernizations here at CPCC. This is your generic PTL type button, which is burnt out, not working, but we call it because it's coming down. There's some birds, something in the background. Here it is. Now that my camera is actually recording this time, let's go up to 6. Again, there's your PTL type features, there's your indicator. That was not me actually shaking the camera, and that's actually the elevator, how it rides. And surprisingly, it rides better when you have more people in the cab, when there's a heavier load. Here's your quick cab view, just your basic parking deck elevator. As I mentioned, this elevator is in rough shape. Can't tell who manufactured it. Anyways, I'm gonna step out before, I'm not sure if it nudges or not. I'm going to step out and let it close. Now let's go have a quick look out here. I'm going to make this go by much quicker than I did in the last video. This gave you a brief overview of Charlotte. And there's some wind out here today, so you might hear some distortion in the camera's mic. Of course, now it's daylight savings time, so it's staying daylight much later. But don't be what's the word? Don't be deceived by all the blooms on the trees and this extended daylight savings time going on. It's actually extremely cold out here today, especially for mid to late March. Tonight's low is supposed to be 23 or 24. And our average load this time of year is like, I don't know, 39, 40. But as I mentioned, there's central campus of CPCC. So that's why everybody rides that elevator. That's why it's had such a rough time. And there is the Levine IT building. If you have a look on top, it has Otis Series 1 traction elevators. You can see the machine room up on the top of the building. And I believe to access that machine room, you actually have to climb to the top of the building. There might be an access door somewhere up there. But anyways, we're going to ride this elevator down. This is elevator number 1. And this one has not had it as rough, but it seems like with CPCC's elevators, the parking deck elevators seem to be last on the list of being maintained. Almost all the elevators in the buildings, like let's see, with the exception of the Crack building, which is about to be torn down. Let's say the Terrell building, the Belt building, this is the Central High, just to give you just to name a few. The elevators in those buildings are in decent shape for their age, 1970s elevators. Now, let's go ahead and call this one up. It's already up here, how about that? And both these elevators have been heavily vandalized. Just re-leveled. I'm gonna take it to 1. I'm gonna ride this one up. This one rides much better than the other one. I mean, almost all the panels are out of the ceiling here. Nice here. Nope, now I guess we're going to take it to 4. That's where I'm parked. Have a listen. These modernizations are fairly recent, because notice how the firefighter's door is behind a closed box, or the firefighter's operation is behind a closed cabinet. Here it closes up. And the reason why I think this might be Dover's is because of the sound of the motor on this one. However, I can't be 100% sure. Of course, if it was Diesel Ducey or maybe Galoose, they film a lot more elevators than I do. They are more experienced in finding brands, so they would probably know. Anyways, there you have it.